members of the jury panel and colleagues in the government team. Today, we stand in opposition to this motion, not because we are against quality in politics, but the solution offered creates new problems that are even more dangerous to democracy, political participation, and social justice. We believe that democracy is not born from exam papers, but from representation. It does not grow from academic values, but from the legitimacy of the people. Therefore, in this speech, we will show that, first, the system is actually exclusive and weakens the representation of the people. Two competence cannot be standardized through written tests. Number three, this mechanism creates significant opportunities from politicization and abuse of power. Number four, its long-term effects actually exacerbate the political distrust and apathy that it aims to address. With this, we firmly reject this motion. Your Excellency, when the government stands up and talks about improving the quality of leaders through competency tests, they appear to be advocates of common sense. However, what they fail to understand is that politics is not merely a matter of technocratic competence. Politics is about social legitimacy, representation, and equal participation rights. Firstly, statement. Democracy is not like private sector recruitment, which relies on grades or specific cognitive standards. Democracy is a system that grants equal rights to every citizen, regardless of their educational background, language, or access to formal education. When you add a test as a legal requirement for candidates, you are replacing the principle of the people electing leaders they trust with the principle who can answer the question correctly. This is not democracy, it is administrative selection. Periodically, society is not homogeneous. In many countries, such as in Indonesia, can access the higher education, political training, and even an understanding of technical terms in economics and law is not evenly distributed across all levels of society. Traditional leaders, grassroots activists, and workers who struggle daily with the hardship of society, they are the legitimate representative of their communities. But under this system, they will be deemed unqualified simply because they cannot answer questions on international law theory or monetary policy. Are we willing to say that only university graduates are fit to be leaders? This is elitism disguised or rationality. Let us ask a fundamental question. Who determines the question in the competency test? Are they neutral? Are they value-free? Of course not. Every subject, whether law, economics, or sociology, is inevitably influenced by a particular ideological framework. Will the test assess a candidate based on their understanding of neoliberal economics? Will a candidate advocating a people-centered economy be deemed incompletely simply because their answer do not align with the dominant framework? Imagine, ladies and gentlemen, the social efforts of this, the people will begin to feel that they not permission from the technocratic elite to nominate their own leaders. There will be a perception that politics does not belong to everyone but only to those who have been approved by the system. Ladies and gentlemen, secondly statement is the main problem in politics today is not that candidates do not understand what is the legal or economic theory. The problem is dishonesty, conflicts of interest, corruption, and a system that allows political oligarchies to dominate parties. Political in this condition, competence is not just about being able to answer multiple choice questions. It is about integrity, empathy, negotiation skills, and relationship with constituents. None of this can be tested through written tests or scores. Those who are loved by the people may not necessarily pass the test, and those with high score may not necessarily understand the needs of their constituents. Therefore, we believe that such tests actually create a greater distance between the people and their prospective leaders. When the government or its delegated agencies has the authority to determine who is qualified to be a candidate, the potential for abuse of power is very high. What if the test becomes a political to black certain opponents? Because whoever controls the content and format of the test has the power to elevate or undermine certain parties. It is no longer democracy, but political censorship and control. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, especially if the results are published as proposed by the government, this will only become a tool for media farming, shaping public opinion based on scores rather than the true value of leadership. Your Excellency, the government today argues that competency tests will rebuild public trust in the political system. They believe that if leaders appear competent, then the people will have more trust and become more involved. However, on Charlie's statement, we stand on the opposite side. We see that when the state screens potential leaders not based on public trust, but on certain technical standards, it is sending a signal that the people's voice is not enough, that the public's trust in someone they know, who has fought for them, is not enough to be considered fit to lead, unless that person passes a technocratic test. Political participation does not arise from fear of failing on exam, but from a sense of ownership of the system. When someone from a remote village, from a minority community, from a non-academic background, feels that the candidate they trust could fail to run for office simply because they don't understand macroeconomic terms, that sense of connection is lost. The result. What is the result? Political apathy increases. Representation becomes homogeneous, felt only by educated elites, and democracy loses its function as a bridge between the aspiration of the people and those in power. Your Excellency, democracy is not an academic competition. Democracy is a stage where all people, regardless of class and education or background, have the same right to be elected and to vote. When we began to place technical competence as a legal prerequisite for running for office, we are limiting who can dream of becoming a leader. We don't deny that we need wise and knowledgeable leaders, but wisdom does not always come from books, and understanding does not always come from the classroom. It comes from life experience, from dedication, from the courage to listen and to the common people. Therefore, based on justice, representation, and true democracy, we firmly reject this motion. Thank you.